Did you know Jean Michel very well during that time?
Yeah, I always saw him around as this, really earnest kind of kid. And Jean Michel has been with, I think, every woman on the Lower East Side, hands down.
Right.
Let me see. I saw him in different stages. I knew him around 80. Was it 80? Yeah, the summer of 80 when he was just like breaking into the biz. And he was going through a lot of identity crises about fame. But he always had like a really good, really earthy, gritty, real grip on things. Like he had this kind of poetic, how can I say it? Poetic radar, I think, for the real. He saw through people a lot, and he really knew how to manipulate things to his benefit. He's a real master diplomat.
When you say he was going through identity crises, I mean, what can you give me any?
Well, let me see. I think he was like only like 19 or 20, and he was just starting to break it with fame, and he had like a real tough time in New York and like selling balloons on corners for a while and T-shirts, and then like about a year and a half after that, his painting started to really take off, and he was shrewd enough to know how to play it when it was happening, but still he was really naive, and and he for a couple of years, he would go to the clubs and go through different stages of identity crises of, like his friends starting to like hit on him when he was still learning how to manipulate them, the art scene. But I can't believe how the art scene has ballooned.
I mean, you can't believe that the East Village has 60 galleries right now?
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And I feel like it's very insincere. I mean, I applaud it on one half, and then on the other, I just think it's very insincere because it's a trend.
Well, the original people that emerged, like Jean Michel and Keith Haring and Kenny Sharp, refused to go to those galleries.
And I think, one of the best films that was made was James Nares's film Rome 78. That was pretty good because that had, good costume drama, good elements, and, he was making a pretty good metaphor with that Rome 78 was New York 78 was like that Greco-Roman period when everything was falling apart. So I think that was, really the best film. But as far as, the statement of the new cinema, I think it was a good effort, but it kind of didn't go anywhere. And everybody else dissipated after that and went into different things. Amos went on to make, sleazy, low-budget features. I don't know what Eric is doing now. Becky's in Hollywood writing screenplays for some pretty heavy-duty people. I'm here.
Well, what was your attitude towards Warhol?
Well, I really liked, the eroticism that he put into, sort of the low life. I really like that sort of dark glamour. That's how I feel about Warhol. I think that he put everything into an erotic nutshell in those films in those days. But, that was the 60s, and that was kind of over. And then he kind of, like, melted into nothingness. But I really appreciate his eroticism. And he caught, like, a little piece of the East Village, in the late 60s. And I think that, that was when he was really pure. And I think a lot of it bleeded into, the 70s scene and even into the Mud Club thing. And Warhol used to show up when we were throwing some of our parties because he was sniffing out some of his, like, past sensibilities, I think. And Susan Blonde was the interviewer at the Rock and Roll Funeral Ball because we had the whole thing taped. But he thought that the Mud Club was too dirty. Like, he rejected everything that he was, sort of fascinated with. But I like Warhol because of his dark eroticism. I think that, that for him, the East Village and all those kind of people who were like really heavily sexy and erotic.